What's up, gangsters? Jard here. Grab a beverage, preferably something that doesn't taste like filtered despair, and settle in. Today we are looking at the grand, pulsating, slightly terrifying tapestry of the current technological zeitgeist. Now, if you've been paying attention, and I assume you have because you aren't currently watching a compilation of cats falling off furniture, you'll have noticed that the Silicon Valley hype machine is currently vibrating at a frequency usually reserved for religious awakenings or collapsing stars. We are being told simultaneously that artificial intelligence is going to solve mortality, fix the climate, and write a better season finale to Game of Thrones, while also being told it's going to turn us all into paperclips by next Tuesday. But let's peel back the veneer of the fleece-vested messiahs for a moment, shall we? Because when you look at the intersection of large language models, quantum mechanics, and the sheer unadulterated physics of computing, a very different picture emerges. It's not a picture of magic. It's a picture of desperate, frantic engineering trying to outrun the laws of thermodynamics. Let's start with the elephant in the server room, the large language model. Currently, the strategy for making AI smarter is what I like to call the Foie Gras Method. We are simply force-feeding these models more data. We shovel the entire internet, fan fiction, doctoral theses, and YouTube comments alike into the maw of a transformer model, crank the parameters up to the trillions, and hope that consciousness falls out the other end. And it is impressive. Don't get me wrong, it's remarkably good at predicting the next token. But here is the dirty little secret the shareholders don't want you to dwell on. We are hitting the law of diminishing returns harder than a crash test dummy in a Volvo. To train the next generation of models, let's call it GPT-6 or Claude the Omnipotent, we aren't just needing a bigger chip. We need a small country's worth of electricity. We are literally reopening nuclear power plants to feed the chatbots. Microsoft isn't buying nuclear capacity because they care about the polar bears, gangsters. They're doing it because their linear algebra needs to eat. The string being pulled here is capital expenditure. The tech giants are betting the GDP of a medium-sized European nation that scaling laws will hold forever. But mathematics is a cruel mistress. She generally doesn't care about your quarterly earnings call. And this is where things get properly interesting. This is where we bridge the gap to the weird stuff. Enter quantum computing. Now, usually, when a YouTuber says quantum, it's followed by some pseudo-spiritual nonsense about manifesting a parking spot. We aren't doing that. We are talking about the hard math. Classical computers, the thing you're watching this on, are binary. Zeros and ones. It's a light switch, on or off. It's very dependable, very logical, and terribly inefficient for simulating nature. Nature isn't binary. Nature is a probabilistic mess. Quantum computers use qubits. Thanks to superposition, a qubit can be a 0, a 1, or, and this is the technical term, a smear of probability involving both. Why does this matter to AI? Because optimization. Training an AI is essentially an optimization problem. You are trying to find the lowest point on a multidimensional landscape of error. Imagine trying to find the deepest valley in a mountain range while blindfolded, taking one step at a time. That's classical gradient descent. A quantum computer doesn't walk down the hill. It simply floods the entire landscape with water and sees where the deepest pool settles instantly. It tunnels through the barriers. Here is the insight the industry is whispering about but not shouting. Classical AI is hitting a wall because silicon chips can't get much smaller without quantum tunneling causing errors. So we have to stop fighting quantum mechanics and start using it. We are moving toward hybrid architectures. The brain of the future won't be just a massive GPU cluster. It will be a classical system handling the inputs and outputs with a quantum processing unit, a QPU, handling the probabilistic heavy lifting in the middle. And here is where my skepticism senses start tingling. Who owns the QPU? You see, you can run an LLM on your laptop today if you strip it down. It's democratized. But a quantum computer, that requires a dilution refrigerator running at near absolute zero. shielded from cosmic rays and tuned by a physicist who hasn't slept since 2019. You aren't putting that in your garage. The string here is centralization. If the next leap in AI requires quantum hardware, the centralization of power won't just be about data, it will be about access to the physics itself. It creates a moat so wide you couldn't cross it with a trebuchet. And speaking of physics, let's connect one more dot that people ignore: the neuromorphic angle. While everyone is staring at the software, the hardware is quietly trying to become biological. We are seeing the rise of wetware, chips designed to mimic the spike timing of human neurons. Because the human brain runs on 20 watts. A modern GPU cluster runs on the same energy as a small thunderstorm. Nature is efficient. NVIDIA is not. The convergence point, the pattern I want you to see, is that AI, quantum, and biology are all collapsing into the same field. We are trying to build a synthetic brain using the physics of the subatomic universe to solve problems we don't even understand yet. It's absurd, it's wonderful. It's like trying to build a particle accelerator out of duct tape and hope. Is it dangerous? Oh, absolutely. Not because the AI will wake up and decide it hates humanity. That's a movie plot. The real danger is that we entrust critical infrastructure, power grids, financial markets, logistics, to a probabilistic system that we literally cannot audit. We are building a black box god. We feed it offerings of data and electricity, and it grants us miracles of efficiency, but if you ask it why it made a decision, it just hallucinates a lawyer and changes the subject. But here is why I remain an optimist, despite my better judgment and general British disposition toward doom. This convergence opens the door to scientific discovery at a pace we cannot comprehend. We aren't just automating customer service emails here. We are talking about AI exploring the chemical space for new materials, using quantum simulation to model protein folding perfectly, and solving the energy crisis that the AI itself helped create. It's a self-licking ice cream cone of progress. We are standing on the precipice of the most chaotic, ridiculous, and high-stakes decade in human history. The governments are trying to regulate it with laws written by people who still print their emails. The tech giants are trying to monetize it before the bubble bursts. And we, the observers, get front row seats to the greatest show on earth. So stay skeptical. Watch the money, not the press release. Understand that when they say AGI is coming, they usually mean please buy our stock, but also don't lose the wonder. We are teaching sand to think using the spooky action of the universe. If that's not worth a little anxiety, I don't know what is. Right then. If you enjoyed this dive into the existential abyss, smash that like button like it owes you money. Subscribe so the algorithm knows you have impeccable taste. And remember, you have the intellectual density of a neutron star and the skepticism of a cat watching a magic trick. Never change. Jarred out. Settings. Use appropriate media, add subtitles with comic font and the shake effect. Use a male middle-aged British voice for the narrator. Make the background music slow, ambient, lo-fi, EDM, trance.